Oh, wrong camera. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Right camera. Well, hello, all my stitchy friends. This is um, an impromptu video today because guess what? We have reached the milestone. Good morning, Victor Stitcher. Hi, Julie, Holly, Melissa. Welcome. I'm glad you're all here. I am so very glad you're all here. So, welcome to my channel. This is the Needlebug, and my name is Karen, and I am happy you're all joining me today. Like I said, we have reached that milestone that I have been waiting for, and I'm so excited, so very, very excited. So we've hit, as of this morning, we have hit 12,000 subscribers. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Angela, you were ready to sleep when you saw the note. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to keep you from sleeping. Oh, but this is so exciting. And I have to thank you all from the very, very bottom of my heart for all subscribing and hanging in there with me and watching my videos and listening to me jabber on and all the things. No, it didn't take long at all. I think it was it last week? Last week that I said there would be a giveaway when we reached 12,000. And I think I had, I'm going to say, I'm going to say about 200 to go. Um, I think that's where it was. So in a week's time, we picked up 200, about 200 subscribers. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are awesome. Absolutely wonderfully awesome. So with that, I thought, okay, good time to come on and do No, tomorrow's the hard hanger videos, guys. Um, so Ymir, hello, how are you? Tomorrow's the Hardanger video at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, and again at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, so no, you didn't. Yeah. It doesn't take long, Victor Stitcher. It really doesn't until those numbers really, really go up. And this is just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful community, and so glad to be a part of it, and so glad to have each and every one of you as a part of my life. So, as promised, as promised, we're going to do the giveaway. So, I have pulled up the random comment picker. Um, and I also am testing out, guys. So, um, just to give you a heads up, remember I was having some battery troubles with my laptop, like the battery was being drained, and then if it went down below a certain point, my stream would cut off. So this is also a test, um, because I hooked up, instead of using the screen on my laptop, I now have a monitor, and I have some different gizmos plugged in for power and what have you. So this is also a test for tomorrow. So two birds with one stone here. So anyway, back to random comment picker. We have used the word milestone. We have, oh God, I got to make it bigger. Eyes. 52 comments. 52 comments. So, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Oh, glare. Okay, there's the comment picker. Okay, gonna hit the start button. And number one is Nicole Nyberg, Nyburg. Nicole Nyberg. Really enjoyed the chat today. So happy you are about to reach 12,000 milestone, and yay for giveaways. So congratulations, Nicole. I will put a comment on your comment. And if you send me, I believe I just need your email address so that I can then forward the chart of your choice from Heaven and Earth Designs to you. So pick your chart, send me your email address. I will have my email at the, no, wait, I have my email. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, I'll have my email in the comment box. Um, and it will also be on the end screen of this video. So if you send me that, the name of the chart and the designer and your email address, and I will get that out to you. So as I promised, there will be 3 winners. So that was number 1. Let's pick another winner. So here we go. Jane Murray, congratulations. Congrats on your upcoming milestone, or your coming up milestone. So Jane, if you do the same, I will comment on yours. You know what? I better write these down, or guess what? We're going to forget. So the first one was Nicole, and the second is Jane Murray. So congratulations, Jane. Email me your chart of your choice with the designer so that I get the right one, and your email address, and I will get that out to you. And then winner number 3. Christine Cameron. As always, lovely to sit and listen today. What a milestone to reach. Like many others, I too find FlossTube a wonderful source of feeling connected to like-minded stitches. And is that not the truth? Is that not the truth? So number 3 is Christine Cameron. So again, same thing. Email me. I will put a note on each of your comments. I will get a chart out to you, the chart of your choice. I need your email address along with that information of the chart you are choosing, and we will get that out to you as soon as I have that information. So congratulations to all the winners, all 3. And once again, thank you. Thank you ever, ever so much. It is a pleasure. It is such fun doing these videos. I truly, truly do enjoy them. In fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine this morning and said, and I had said to her, isn't it wonderful? We both are retired nurses, and people always said to us, I don't think I have I don't have it turned on. People always said to us, gosh, if I would have had everything turned on here, it would have been a miracle. um, aren't you going to be bored when you retire? And I said, no, no, absolutely not. No, not going to be bored. And this has just added to all the things that I enjoy doing during my retirement. It is a lot of fun, and I have enjoyed spending time with each and every one of you. It's it's just been it's just been a pleasure. Hi, Jen. Good morning. So there we have winners for 12,000. So yeah, too darn much to do. Isn't that the truth? I think um no, I can't say that I'm busier now than when I worked, but again, I'm not bored. I'm always doing something. I'm pretty much stitch quite a lot. Quite a lot. But you know what? You do what you love, and if that's what you love, that's what you do. So, let me grab my thread. And how about if we do a little bit of stitching and chatting with this? Rather than just be having a giveaway, let's spend some time. And I really do thank each and every one of you for allowing me into your home and spending time with me. And I'm sure we'll find something to talk about today. So let me just grab my thread. I have my stitching here, but let me let me grab my thread and pull over my camera, and we'll get to stitching. Oh, let's see. That's not the screen I want. Oh, good Lord, all Friday. No, that's not it either. Oh, pardon me while I click around my, here we go. Nope, we don't want that either. But we can use this screen, but let's just get rid of this. There's my email address, folks, for those of you that need it. And let me just say, let's switch this camera. For those of you that, there we go. For those of you that are going to attend the Hardanger class, or anybody else, if you would like, whoops, if you would like to go ahead and join the Discord a while. I set up a Discord with the hope that with the hope that those in the Hardanger class, if you're having a problem or any kind of issue with what we're doing or what you're stitching and I need to see it, you can post a picture there, and then we'll be able to pull it up on the screen to actually take a firsthand look at it and see what your problem or what the problem is. Sometimes it's just a miscount. Sometimes it's, yeah, getting the thread in the wrong hole. There's issues, but that will be tomorrow, and the first session will be at 10:30. What did I do with my, there it is. First session will be at 10:30. Second session, that's Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Pennsylvania, so it will be Eastern Standard Time. The second session will be at, can you tell I wasn't prepared? I was so excited. The second session will be at 7 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. So, okay. Okay, where are we here? Yeah, they are full coverage. Yes, for the most part, what I stitch is full coverage or or gymongous projects. Um, I honestly, in all truthfulness, can hardly tell you the last time I stitched anything small. 9 times out of 10, I'm stitching full coverage. Occasionally, I will stitch something smaller, but it's not too often. I do have Pandemic started by Long Dog Sampler, so that is not full coverage. However, it is another huge project. I also have Legal High started. And that, thank you, Ymir, if you're still here, is all Ymir's fault. I actually had it started on 22 count with Sulky. However, I changed it and I'm doing it on 36 count even weave with a Virswa Surfine. So that is a really, really thin thread. In fact, Ymir, I sent you a message on your website, but you may not have seen it. And I was wondering if you were dyeing any threads that are suitable for stitching over 1 on those finer counts. So if you're still here and if you're still listening, and if you do that, could you could you send me a message or let me know, because I would be interested. It keeps calling to me, and I have it started on 22 count, but and in black, but I'm just not happy with it. I do have Death by Cross Stitch started, but I would really, 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 really like to do it on a finer count fabric. Possibly the 36 count. And I'm looking for a finer thread other than the surfine. So, Ymir, if you have any suggestions. Oh, that would be great. Send me a note on Instagram. That would be awesome sauce. Fabulous, wonderful. I would love it. I don't know, it's all your fault. All your fault. I want to do these teeny tiny little, these big, big, big projects on these teeny tiny little things. Why? I don't ask me, because my eyes. I have to use a magnifier. These old eyes. They're not any, I'm not getting any younger. But I just I love the look at it. Death by Cross Stitch is a Long Dog sampler. I don't think I have a picture of it right here, but I can find you one. Um, hold on. Let me get you a picture of it. Here it is. Oh, I do that every time. I love Pattern Keeper. However, when I want to get to the PDF, I always open the okay, let's see. Let's go under here. Let's use this camera. Long Dog Sampler is the designer, and there we go. Now let me move this out of the way. Let me move this out of the way. We might just be chatting today. Okay, can you see that? It's 363 by 447. So yes, Long Dog Samplers is the name of the designer. And she came up with this chart to celebrate 20 years of her being in business. Jules Line is the designer's name. Wonderful charts. So if you just let's go back to my other screen because I have a hunch I'm not going to be stitching much. So let's go back. Oh, I did it again. Ah, this switching screens. Here we go. Here we go. No, that's not it. Oh, pardon me. Okay, I'll find you. Okay, this is what I did. I got to switch the cameras. I'm sorry here for the there we go. Okay. Technical difficulties again. Just slap me silly. One of these days I will learn how to run this software. No. Oh, unlock it. Here we go. There we go. Oh my goodness. Ah, it's not my day today. See what happens when I do these impromptu things and I'm not totally prepared. So let's get this out of the way. Let's get it out of the way. I'm probably not going to stitch much. But yes, I do bigger things. I mean, I have done smalls over the years or smaller things over the years. Yeah, if you're recording, say, on your iPad or on your phone, yeah, you just hit record and then you just hit upload and it goes onto YouTube. I use a software called Ecamm because I am working on a Mac, on a MacBook Pro. So I use Ecamm software. And with that, I can set up different screens and different scenes, and I can flip between them. Like here, I can have this screen up um, where you get this view. I can change it to the going live screen that you saw at the beginning. I can change it to the view I have for my class, where you're going to see the stitching, you're going to see me, you're going to see a little chart of how we're going to stitch. So I can set up a whole lot of different things. And that's one of the nice things about using a streaming software as opposed to just using your phone. The other thing that people use is OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software. I tried that, but I couldn't quite wrap my head around it. And this one, it's a paid, you pay an annual subscription. But this one is so much easier. Well, hello, Nicola. You're never late to the party. That's okay. That's okay. Charles, yes, you may send me an email for the class agenda, and there's a list of supplies. Yeah, just send me an email, put in the subject line Hardanger so that I know that that's what you'd like. I will send you a link to my Dropbox. I have a folder in Dropbox where I have a whole bunch of information about Hardanger, like fabrics and thread and how to figure out size of the fabric that you need and bunches of stuff. There's some diagrams in there for right-handed people and left-handed people on the stitching sequence. Pardon me. I forget what all I have in there, but yes, there's a boatload of information in the Dropbox that I will share with you, and I will also send you the class schedule because it will run starting tomorrow. It will run until I believe it's mid-February sometime. Yeah, the last one, they're every Wednesday. The times are the same, 10:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, or 7 p.m. in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. And they will go until the 16th of February. So every Wednesday until this, to and including the 16th of February. Anyone else that would like the information, please send me an email. I'm happy to get that information out to you. The other thing to note is that each session, both the morning session and the afternoon session, will be going up on YouTube once the live sessions are completed. I will upload them. I do have from about, I'm going to say it's at least 3, 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago, I did do a series of Hardanger classes that are on my channel at the moment. And they are very popular videos. However, the reason I wanted to redo parts of them and do them live is so that they could be interactive. This way, by doing it live and showing you how to do the stitches, how to read the chart, we can answer questions right then and there. I think that people have questions when they watch a video, but you know, when it's not a live session and you're just watching someone's video up there, sometimes questions don't get answered. So I want it to be an interactive session where you can ask your question right away and we can work through it and work on this project together. Now, Yes, Richter, there are supplies that are needed. You need you need the fabric. It can be any, yes, it will go for 6 weeks. Um, it will not be the same instruction every week, and that's why, uh, send me an email and I will get out the agenda to you. You know, one week it's gonna be how to do the cluster blocks. One week it's gonna be how to do the buttonhole stitch around the edge. One week it's gonna be how to do, they're called stars, which is the surface stitching that's in there. One week it's gonna be cutting. One week it's gonna be wrapping. Now, I my plan, and we'll see how it goes because you know what they say about the best laid plans. Sometimes they go right out the window, some of those best laid plans. But my plan is to have maybe the first 15 to 20 minutes as an instructional part where where I will demonstrate the stitch and what we're going to do, and we'll talk a little bit about it. And then the rest of that hour will be for your questions so that I can answer your questions so that I can help you get that stitching done. Now, in the information with the session schedule on it, I did refer to a chart that you can purchase off of Nordic Needle for $6 and we would do that chart together. However, that is optional because in the information in my Dropbox, there is a chart. Um, there is a chart that we can use. It's a smaller chart. It's just for an ornament size. Um, yes, Sheila, I'll post my email again. Hold on here till I have to switch back to, ah, here we go again. Here we go. Let me, um, hold on. Here we go. Okay, now let me go back. Here we go. There you go. There's my email. Okay. So anyone that wants the information, send me that. Send me an email. But in the Dropbox, there is a smaller ornament size chart that we can do. If that's, you know, either one is fine. You're going to still learn the same stuff. Okay. Because the basis of all hardanger embroidery is the cluster block. So without that, you can't do it. Bottom line. Um, so that will have, the only thing that chart does not have are the stars. And you can always do them just to learn how to do them on another scrap piece of fabric. Now, here's the other thing, and then this was a question that I was getting quite a lot once people were receiving the information. Hardanger embroidery does not have to be done on 22 count hardanger fabric. Okay. That has kind of over time progressed to be what people generally think they have to use. However, that's not the case. You can use any even weave fabric. And that, when I say any even weave fabric, I am referring to a fabric that is mono woven. So it's like your linen. It's one thread horizontally, one thread vertically, and they are woven in and out of each other. Like Lugana, like Jobelin, like Davos, Brittany, Murano, any one of those. So anything that is an even weave fabric can be used. My preference and a lot of the things that I stitched were done on 32 count Lugana with size 8 and 12 pearl cotton. Now the thing is, here I am giving you the start of the Hardanger class, you lucky people, you. The thing is, the thread that you use for your cloister blocks in particular, the thickness of that thread should be equal to the thickness of your fabric thread. Okay? So, hence the reason on 22 count Hardanger fabric, the cloister blocks are done with a size 5 pearl cotton because that thickness is closest to the threads in the fabric, because Hardanger cloth is 2 threads by 2 threads that are monowoven. Okay? Where your Lugana, your Jobelin, your Davos, your linens are 1 thread, mono thread. Okay? So your thread of choice should be equal to the thickness of the threads of the fabric. So on a 32 count Lugana, I used 8 for the blocks, size 12 for the needle weaving. Or you could even use a strand of embroidery floss. So there's options. Hardanger embroidery does not have to be white on white. It can be colors. I have, and I wasn't prepared for this today, but I have a piece that I did with, I'm not sure if it was Karen water lilies or if it was wildflowers. I think it was wildflowers on 32 count. And it was the Karen wildflowers that I used for the cluster blocks. And then I used regular DMC embroidery floss for the needle weaving. And tomorrow I will bring that along over here and show that to everybody. So, you know, you have options. For those of you that are going to attend the class, if you can, my suggestion was to have a contrasting color thread to your fabric so that especially for someone who's learning, it makes seeing where if you make a mistake, it helps you to find that mistake a bit easier because your thread is a different color than your fabric. So for myself, I think this is a 28 count. It's a little hard to see here, but I think this is a 28 count, probably Lugana. Yeah, because it has the orange. Remember, Zweigert fabrics all have this orange strip woven in the border. Okay, so I believe it's a 28 count Lugana, but what I'm going to use is, my light's a little bright here, a variegated thread and a solid. So my variegated is going to be my blocks. This solid is going to be for the needle weaving. So that will make any mistakes easier to see. Um, yeah. So, I mean, it's up to you. But originally, and this was another question I had because I had a woman asking about threads to use and being able to do it from her stash, and and if you can do it with, if you have some of these things in your stash, great, great, because why not use up your stash? Um, yeah. Oh man, where was I going with that? Oh, what originally, when Hardanger embroidery was first done way back in the cave days, more cave days than my cave days, it was done on linen because that was the fiber that was available, and it was done with linen thread. So the country where it originated in Norway, their crop was linen because that's what they could grow in that area. They didn't use cotton. They didn't use cotton fabric, and they didn't use cotton thread back then because was not conducive in that climate. So their fabric was linen, and they would use the threads of that linen to do their embroidery. Okay? Because again, your thread that you are stitching with was equivalent to the threads of the fabric. So um, they used the linen thread to do the stitching. So they didn't have what we have today. I mean, today, face it, we have an exorbitant amount of options. Um, who'd ever thunk that we would have the options to stitch with that we have today? So experiment. Again, I'm always advocating experiment with your cross stitch. Experiment with this, with Hardanger also. Um, you just have to keep in mind the basic principle of stitching thread comparable to fabric thread, and you can use whatever you like. Now, someone also asked me, could I use like crochet cotton? And I would imagine that yes, you could. I have never done that myself. I have not tried it. However, when you think about texture, your crochet cotton is more of a rounded thread, where your pearl cotton, it's hard to explain, but if you compare them side by side, they're different. The crochet cotton is a rounded, it's not fluffy, so it's going to sit on your fabric different than a pearl cotton is, and your coverage may be different. But I don't think there's a law that says you can't use it. So that's another thing. Well, hello everyone that's just joining us. I'm not keeping up with the chat here. I'm too busy yakking away. Leanne, for 22 count and size 5 pearl, I would probably use a 24 needle. Yeah, Richter Stitcher, try it. You might try it. You might like it. I think a lot of you that have been with me for a while uh, have heard me tell the story of how, oh, a long time ago, I had a shop. And even though I am predominantly self-taught, I did take some classes. Well, and it actually wasn't even a class. I worked with a mentor from the National Needlework Association, and I had already kind of taught myself hardanger embroidery. But once I had a session with her and she showed me a few things that I could do differently, I was hooked. I spent, I'm going to say, the best part of 10 years where I didn't touch cross stitch. Nothing. I did no cross stitching whatsoever. I did just hardanger embroidery for like 10 years. I mean, I made table centers, I made doilies, I made gifts, I did some commission work for people. Um, yeah, about 10 years. I only came back, let me see, 89, 89, 99. Yeah, it was a little over 2000, a little over 2000, a little over 10 years because it was only around 2004 that I came back and started cross stitching again. It was from around 1989 till around 2004. I did nothing but hardanger embroidery. Yes, you can use 28 count Lugana even weave. Yes, absolutely. The thread I would use for that would be size 8 for the cluster blocks, size 12 pearl cotton for the needle weaving. Or you could use embroidery floss for the needle weaving. Either or. That would be optional. Um, I don't know if anybody saw on my diagonal stitching group, Martina, Martina. Oh my goodness, Martina, I'm drawing a blank on your last name, but she posted a picture of her piece of hardanger that she was experimenting with, and I think she's going to be part of the classes. And for her blocks are a little bit different than the standard cluster block, but it's beautiful. And she used a variegated thread, and um, if I'm remembering correctly, she used DMC floss for those blocks, which you can also do. However, then you would have to be careful not to have it twist up on you, because what you would want is for all of those strands, however many strands that you use, you want them all to lay side by side. So it may be advantageous to use some sort of a laying tool or use another needle, another tapestry needle, to help align the threads so that they're all laying next to each other, so that you get the good coverage that you would want. Um, that certainly is an option, and we can look at some of that tomorrow and uh, play around a little bit with that also. So that's certainly another option that's out there. It isn't the standard that is used. Um, in today's world, the standard is pearl cotton. But as I said, you're not limited to that. Um, you could, you could, I don't know that I want to necessarily pull all the threads off the end of my piece, but you could use your pull threads off of your piece that you're stitching and thread with this and use this. Yeah, Sheila, Walmart has really, I shouldn't say that because I don't know. I don't go to the Walmart near me. Um, yeah, and that's a whole nother story, but I don't usually go. But from what I hear, Walmart has really cut back on the needlework supplies that they do stock, and um, yeah, they may not carry it. I would say Joann's, Hobby Lobby, um, Michael's would all carry it, but I don't know, what your proximity to those places. Um, the other option, although not receiving it in time, would be to order it from one of the online shops. Of which, darn, I had stuff ordered to do this class tomorrow, which hasn't arrived yet. It only was shipped yesterday from 123 Stitch, so I know it's not going to be here in time. Um, so that's why I had to redo my plan as far as what I was going to use to stitch on. Um, and this wasn't what I originally had planned, but that's okay because you know what? We're flexible. It works out. It comes out in the wash, because the whole point is to give you the basics of the stitches that you need. Um, and the basics of the information so that you can take that information and you can apply it to do other things. It's like teach a man to fish so that he can feed himself and others. So it's kind of like let's teach you the basics so that you can go out there and do and have the tools to do the other things that you want to do. So that if you want to do a big um, table center or even a tablecloth, you have the knowledge to apply to be able to do that. So that's what this is all about. And like I said, if you want to get that chart from Nordic Needle, that's fine. If not, we'll use the chart that is in my Dropbox. In fact, I'm probably leaning to doing that one rather than have people purchase. And if you have already purchased, certainly you can apply what we're going to learn to doing that chart. Oh, Amazon Prime has it deliverable today. There you go. There you go. Depends on where you live and when you get it ordered, that you may be able to get it today, or have it before the session tomorrow. You know, um, like I said, I happen to have a little bit here, so that's what I'm working with, even though I ordered it well enough, or I thought I ordered it well enough for in advance. So, 123 Stitch is always pretty quick with their shipping. So I must have had some things in that order that were not quite in stock at the time, and then the order was delayed and yada yada yada. And you know, it is what it is, and you know what? We make the best of it and we make it work. Yes, at least by session 2. At least by session 2, and then you can, catch up is not gonna be difficult to do. Yeah. I mean, and even even if you don't have it in time for tomorrow, substitute a thread so that you can at least practice the stitch and get the feel for the stitch. Then when your thread arrives, you could actually do the actual stitching, and then you would be caught up for the next session, because I think I have the next session as buttonhole stitch, which is the stitch around the whole outside. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, you do use a hold on. Let me take a drink here. You could use a couple strands of embroidery floss just to practice the stitch. And then when your pearl cotton gets here, then you could just, catch up, so to speak, so that you'd be ready for the session next week. Like I said, they're every Wednesday, times are the same, and all of them, all of them, even the repeat session, like the 10:30 in the morning session and the 7 o'clock session, the instruction is going to be the same. What will be different is the questions and answers. So I am going to upload both of them to YouTube for viewing later. And this week's will be session 1A and session 1B will be uploaded. Next week, it will be session 2A and session 2B will be uploaded. So, you can watch one, you can watch both. You'll get the same instructional information. Probably won't be word for word because that's not how I roll. Um, if you haven't noticed already, I have usually just a list of things I want to talk about, but when I present, and I did this even when I was working and had to do in-servicing, when I present, it's really off the cuff. I don't have a prepared speech. Um, I have an agenda, but how it comes out of my mouth is off the cuff. Well, hi, Jackie, and thank you for joining the stream. I'm glad that you found us and that you decided to join. What we are talking about is the sessions that I will have beginning tomorrow on teaching people how to do hardanger embroidery. um, and just to give you a quick rundown of that, it's every Wednesday until February 16th. at 10:30 in the morning, at 7 o'clock in the and repeated again at 7 o'clock in the evening. Each Wednesday, we'll have a different agenda on a different stitch that we're going to do, and hopefully get some people to like and interested in hardanger and keeping that art alive, because these things truly are an art. Uh, yes, they are hobbies, but they are works of art. I don't know if all of you have seen, so let me just turn around here, and I just happen to know where I have it. Ouch. Ah, now, this has been a little folded up, so excuse the wrinkles. Um, so let's, okay, we're going to flip the scenes again. Hardanger goes back a very long time. I can't tell you, I don't remember exactly when, but it does go back a very, very, very long time. So let's pull this down and let's add this camera. Okay, so here, let's get, see if I can focus it a little better. Here we go again. Yes, Eastern Standard Time. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Now, this was a design. Let me put it on something so you can see it a little better. There we go. And let's get, where's my mouse? Let's get this puppy out of the way. Put that down here. Okay. This was a design that was in the basics of it was in one of the Nordic needle books that I had over the years. And I modified it to my own liking. So this basic outside edge, okay. So our first set, and it needs a good wash. Our first session is going to be these blocks right here. Okay, these inside blocks. And they also go around out here. Okay, so that's going to be session number 1. Of doing, the cluster blocks are the foundation of all hardanger embroidery. The next session is going to be these stitches around the outside edge. Okay. And anything, your fabric is going to come out here, but anything out past this outside edge is going to get cut away when it's all done. So you do not need to have 3 inches of fabric on each side of your project. 1.5 is actually plenty. Okay. But again, that's up to you and what you're comfortable with. A hoop is optional. If you want to use a hoop, you can. You do not have to. There are parts of this that I do totally without a hoop. There are parts I use a hoop. Um, however, however, I do not make that hoop tight because me personally, and not everybody, but me personally, I do this as a sewing method motion as opposed to stick and stab. Yes, Fran, and even count linen is perfectly fine. Absolutely fine. You can do, and Leanne, you can use a hoop or not use a hoop. Jackie, send me an email at the email address on the screen, and I will send you all the information. I will send you the list of what, there's a list on there of what you need, and there is a session agenda. Okay, so just drop me an email and I will get that out to you. Let's see, here we go. These are going to be one session. Now, what I have planned is just this base part of it and not these swirly giggies that come off. But these are stars, so it would just go to like here. Okay. No, I don't use a Q-snap for heart hanger. Now, that being said, I will have mine mounted loosely in a Q-snap while I'm teaching the class, but the only purpose to that is so that I can keep it in the viewing area and not be jostling all over the place with it, because if I don't have it mounted on something, I tend to not stay in the frame. So I will have it mounted loosely on a Q-snap so that I can keep it in view for all of you to see what I'm doing. So when I say, okay, back to when I say ships, this is the type of motif I am talking about, and that is satin stitches, surface satin stitches, okay? Then there will be the hardest class, the hardest session that we're going to have is cutting. And everybody's going to hold their breath, and everybody's going to be afraid. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It is expected. You will all be a little fearful of cutting. That is perfectly normal. However, we will get through it. Once you make that first cut, every cut after that is easier. So just to, again, see if I can get in here a little closer. Okay, no, here's a bigger space to show you. What you're going to do is cut right along this edge of the block, and this edge of the block, and this edge, and this edge. Now, this is also the most important thing when you're doing this embroidery is there cannot be any room for error. You cannot fudge this. You know, how many of us make a mistake in our cross stitch and go, yeah, well, nobody ever gonna notice that. I put the wrong color in that spot. Nobody's ever gonna know the difference. I'm just gonna fudge it and move on. You cannot fudge this, especially, you just can't. Nowhere can you fudge it because you're gonna cut here, for example, and then go straight across. You're gonna cut here. Okay, so you're going to cut under. Let me get over here a little bit better. Okay, you're going to cut here. You're going to cut here. So that if these don't match up and you're pulling these threads and they don't match, it's not gonna work. I mean, what can I say? Just like you're gonna cut along this block, you're gonna cut along this block. There's 4 threads that would be in between here, and you're gonna pull those out and pull away so that it leaves these 4 threads that are gonna be wrapped. If you cut the wrong one, yes, it can be fixed to a degree. But if this block over here is 2 stitches off from this block, your whole thing is going to be out of whack. Okay? So it's not just here that that it's going to have to be fixed. It's going to be every one that's off that has to be fixed. So this is an important, and I don't mean to scare people because really it's easy to make sure that you're lined up. And this is not to scare you. This is just to emphasize that it's important. It's important that things line up perfectly so that things last. And then our session is going to be on doing this stitch here, which is a dove's eye. And that's done when you're doing the wrapping. Very, very simple to do. I don't know if you can see them, but there. There's little nubs at the dove's eye. Those are called picots, and I don't believe I have planned to get into those. That will be something that we will do if these sessions go well. We will carry on and do some more sessions where we do different decorative filling stitches. So that's an option. So this is heart hanger embroidery. This is what we're going to learn. And no, it is not difficult. It is not difficult. Here's the thing. Can you count? Can you count? Sure you can. Can you count to 5? Oh, absolutely. Can you count to, you can count to 5. That's the hardest part. That is the hardest part. You can count to 5. You know how to thread a needle. I'm going to hold your hand through the rest. You know how to check, okay, is this, oh, here, is this on the same thread as over here? Well, that's just a matter of, okay, let's follow that across. Oh, okay, that looks good. If you need to, you run a basting stitch. And I have done that already, especially on a large project, where I would run a basting stitch from one side to the other so that I could make sure things line up. And when I get to that stitch, am I at the same place on the cloister block? So there's ways of checks and balances. This looks so much harder than it is. Can you wrap thread around some fabric threads in a figure 8? Sure you can. In and out, in and out, in and out. It's not difficult. It looks so much harder than it is. And for something so simple, it produces something so delicate and beautiful. And each and every one of you out there can do this. I promise. Now, here's the mistake my husband makes. If we move something like this off the table, now, what I'm showing you is the right side. Oh, this stitch in here, we're not going to, this, what looks like bumps, that is not going to be taught in this session. That is called a faggot stitch. And it's very easy to do, but that's not going to be taught. These are just satin stitches that you would do in counted thread work. Okay. But here's the mistake my husband makes every time. Every time we take this off of wherever it is, and he would put it back like this. Because he couldn't tell the difference between this and this. This is the back. So you can see where I've started, and if you look closely, you can see where I started and ended threads. You can see some itty bitty thread carries and starting and ending of threads. But for the most part, a well done piece, you cannot tell the difference between the front and the back. And that is going to be our objective, because hang out with me, you won't be able to tell the difference between the front and the back. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I will also tell you, people go, when I show them about starting and ending threads, people go, oh my God, is that going to hold up? Is that going to come apart? Is this going to come apart? Because you know what? I'm cutting right up against these stitches here. Isn't that going to fall apart? I've cut all this stuff out here. Isn't that going to fall apart? Well, let me tell you. I'm trying to remember. I stitched this. Okay. I've been retired for 10 years this year. I went back to cross stitching in 2005. I made this somewhere around 1990. This piece is at least 30 years old. At least. This piece looks just as nice today as the day I made it. This piece has been washed, hand washed, mind you, never put in a wash machine, but hand washed many, many, many times. So, yeah, it's gonna last. It's not gonna fall apart. So, one piece that's in my oldest whip pile with satin stitches, I did it very well back in the 80s, but forgotten how they don't look the same as the ones I did. Yeah. So that's my deal. So hopefully, any of you that are listening today that are interested in joining that session tomorrow, please shoot me an email if you haven't already. I'll get you the stuff. And let's flip you back here. Oh, let's flip you back here. Here we go. Here we go. Shoot me an email. I'll send you the information. like I was saying before, if you don't have all the things and need to order, just find a piece of scrap fabric. Piece of scrap fabric, use some DMC floss to at least get the idea of the stitches, and then when you get the things that you need, yeah, you can catch up. Oh, well, thank you. I am glad that you found me too. I truly am. Like I said, you guys are the absolute best. I It's still, even, you know what? I've been doing these videos, I can't even remember how long now. I think maybe this is in my second year. I forget. My actual YouTube channel has a much earlier date, uh, because there are some original Hardanger sessions that I put on, oh, I'm going to say 3, 4 years ago, that were just made to assist with the class that I was teaching at the time at a local shop that is no longer here. Um, but that doesn't actually reflect of when I started doing more routine videos. That came about with um, the diagonal stitching videos that I did, and that would be about the time that I can't remember when that was, but that's when I started doing videos on a regular basis, um, sometimes not so regular basis, but that would be from when most of my subscribers are from. So let's see, when was that? Let's flip back through here. Well, that one was 2 years. Oh, that's live was 2 years ago. Year ago. I'm gonna say I did a lot of videos well, let's say 2 years ago. Do I park in my stitching? Sometimes, sometimes not. Right now, Joyce, hello. Right now I'm not loving parking. Right now I'm loving um taking a section of my chart and doing cross country within that section. Um, right now my mood is such that I get annoyed with parking. And you know what? And that's okay. That is okay. Most of my pieces, no, not most, all of my pieces are done with many different methods. Sometimes I have that hankering to convert everything to diagonal stitching and parking. And then I get tired of that, so I go back to cross country in an area. Hi, Jody. Sometimes I go columns and parking with feathering into the next column. Um, yeah, then I go back to, I truly am a cross-country stitcher at heart. I really am. Uh, I was in love with diagonal stitching for quite some time. Um, Brian Blitz Stitch did his videos on diagonal stitching, and when he stitches diagonally, instead of going horizontally across the row, his rows go vertically. So he works down that column vertically. A lot of people had trouble wrapping their head around that, and myself included. Um, I just couldn't because I was not a person who stitched vertically. I always stitched horizontally. Yes, and I like Brian's channel too. He's a great guy, a very great guy. Um, his technique for horizontal was different than what I came up with or the way I adapted it for me. So what started all of this then was the fact that, okay, if I had trouble wrapping my head around Brian's method, which is perfectly fine, and it's a great method also, somebody else might be having that same difficulty wrapping their head around it. So that's when I decided that I would make some videos showing how I did it. And it just took off from there. I mean, it just blossomed from that point on. Um, have I adapted it over time? Yes. Do I always stitch that way myself? No. Do I flop back and forth between methods? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one side all the way back. I'm not sure what you mean. That's one side all the way. You can do diagonal stitching in many different. You can start at the top and work that diagonal column across the whole piece if you choose. Or some people stop at the bottom of a page. Some people work cross country within the diagonal only so that they, okay, if you're say you're just for conversation's sake doing a 10 stitch wide diagonal. Some people will pick first color and then they will take that color and stitch it the length of the diagonal to whatever length they're stitching, whether it be to the end of the page or whether it be down across the whole piece. And then they'll go back up to the top and take the next color and do the same thing and gradually fill it in. Some people will work on the diagonal and they'll take color number 1 and they'll fill that all in for 10 rows to where the next gray line is. Then they may park in that next set of 10 by 10. So they'll fill in all the colors in the first 10 by 10. Is there a name for when you stitch from one side to the other, not diagonal? So if you stitch from one side of the piece to the other side of the piece cross country, like just filling in colors as you go. I don't know that there's a special name for that. I mean, here, oops, here we go. Here we go. Let's, ooh, that camera gets hot. Let's flip you back again. There. Like this. Is this what you mean? This is just plain cross-country stitching. Okay. So I've just picked a section. Let me open it up. Okay. Yeah. So whoa. Speaking of my Patoki stand here, I still have not gotten the shipping notice for my floor stand. But it's coming. They're waiting for packing stuff. So yeah, I started over here on this edge. Okay. Oops. And I'm just working across. So this is the other side of the top. Okay, this is a stocking. This is going to be a stocking, by the way. So I'm just, and this fabric was not gridded. I'm gridding it myself as I go. So yes, this is cross country. So I'll pick a color and I'll fill in, I'll either finish a strand of floss, or I may finish a couple strands of floss, and then I'll go to the next color. What I usually try and do is start with the colors that don't have a lot of stitches of that color, and save the colors that have more stitches for last, so that they cover the carries on the back. Sheila, thanks for stopping by. I'm so glad you joined us. And yes, shoot me that email. Okay, take care. Have yourself a great day. And enjoy your stitching if you get a chance. So, but thanks for stopping. Yes, Richter Stitcher. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting what your actual name is. And I know you told me, and this old brain just is not bringing it to the forefront. But yeah, I think what you're doing is called cross country. Now, when you're doing it just in small sections like this, or just in a page, that is what I call cross country. Some people, Linda, that's it. I wanted to say that that was correct, but I wasn't sure. Some people will pick a color, whatever that color may be. It may be the color with the most stitches. It may be the color with the least stitches. It may be the color somewhere in between, in the middle of all of that. And they will stitch that color through the entire piece. However big that piece is, doesn't matter. They will stitch that color through the entire piece. That is called extreme cross country. I'm not sure if she still has or is still on so much. She was in the Heaven and Earth group, and I think she still is. Portia Parcher, I think her name is, has a Facebook group for extreme cross-country stitching, and she stitches that way. And that was a big draw for a while. Yeah, exactly, Linda. I got bored too. I tried that. There was a piece I was doing at the time I tried that had like 100,000 stitches of black. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, no, 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 no. Talk about boring. That gives whole new meaning to boring. Couldn't do it. And then, of course, my wheels start turning. My wheels start turning that if I start with the color that has the most stitches, okay? and I stitch all of that. Well, that's all fine, well, and dandy. And yes, that gives you a foundation to work from. Absolutely. But if I go on in order of the most stitches to the least stitches, when you get down to those colors, pardon me, that maybe only have five stitches of one color. Now, why these? Okay, that's a whole nother subject of why just 5 stitches of one color. Granted, I get it is probably for accent and highlight and make it look like a painting. I understand all that, but lordy, 5 stitches of one color. Can you imagine? And this is where my head went. Again, this is just my personal opinion. It is not to say there's anything right or wrong about this. It's just my thoughts. But I could not imagine looking for those, say, less than 10 stitches in a piece like my Stitcher's Retreat that had over 400,000 stitches in it. To find those 10 stitches, less than 10 stitches, in my mind was like looking for a needle in a haystack. How in God's name am I going to find them? So with that, extreme cross-country stitching quickly became a thing of the past for me. However, that being said, it certainly has a lot of advantages. Say you want to take that stitching with you and you're working extreme cross country and you're doing one color at a time, which is perfectly fine. And you're gonna be visiting with the in-laws that afternoon, and you take your stitching along so that you can stitch while you visit. You only have to carry one color with you. How cool is that? I mean, it has a lot of advantages. However, when you get down to finding those last couple stitches, that kind of would have made me crazy. Okay, it's a short trip, I get that, but it kind of would have made me crazy. I don't know that I could have done that. That's quite all right, Linda. Quite all right. No need to apologize. No need to apologize. That's why we are here. We are here so that people can learn. And like I said, I always say I am not a professional. I am just an everyday stitcher like all of you. I've just been doing it for a very long time. And I enjoy sharing the things that I know and that I've learned with all of you. So never apologize for your comments or your questions. Never. Please don't. Please don't. We're all here. And the thing is, you're commenting so that you can learn. I bet you there's other people out there. I will bet that, who are wondering the same things. They're just quieter. And that's okay too. That's okay too. We can lurk. Jackie, do I have a video on different fabrics? No, I do not. Let me add that to a list. I can do a video on different fabrics. Would love to do that. So let me make a to-do list. Video on different fabrics. Okay. All right. Yes, We will do that. And I will try to include all kinds. Yes, Aida cloth can be hard on your thread. It wears the stiffness of that fabric wears on your thread when you're repeated, the repeated pulling through does wear a bit on the thread. The trick to that, Jackie, is probably to keep the length of your thread a bit on the shorter side, like 18 to 20 inches at best. So that, yes, you have to add new floss more often, but it isn't going to be as hard. You'll have less, for lack of a better word, damage on your floss. Okay, good. Then I will look at doing a video on some different types of fabrics. Yeah, and we can, well, Aida cloth is Aida cloth, but we can look at some of the others out there. But there's all kinds of fabric out there, and it really what you stitch on really becomes a matter of personal preference. What do you like? A, what you can see. B, and I hear you, Jackie. I hear you. I use a magnifier also. Right now, this particular piece, this stocking I'm working on is 20 count, so I can see that pretty well. Martina, hello. But if I'm working on finer count fabrics, yeah, I gotta get the old magnifier out because I can't be seeing it. I tried linen and I just beat it up so bad I couldn't get my tension right at all. Jackie, were you stitching in a hoop or were you stitching in hand? And when I say in hand, I find that some people don't quite understand what that means. In hand means you are holding the fabric in your hand without the assistance of a hoop or a Q-snap or anything else. You are just holding fabric in your hand. Some people think that in hand means I have a hoop, but I'm holding that in my hand and not on a stand of any kind. But in hand stitching is in hand. Yes, Jody, I can do that. I can show you how to make X's on linen, over 1 and over 2. I do have a linen. I do have a how to stitch on linen video, but I can do another one. In fact, let me ask you guys this. There's enough of you here that I think I can get a pretty good consensus. Rather than just, I mean, I can do videos and post them that demonstrate how to stitch on linen over 1, how to stitch on linen over 2. I can do tent stitch ones. I can do any number of videos. I can do the fabric video and post them. Would you rather have a pre-recorded video and have me post that? Or would you rather do it like this as a live session? My thought is to do it as a live session gives you opportunities that you don't have if I pre-record it and post it. Doing it as a live session, we can answer questions right away. That's what I love about doing these sessions. So, I mean, I will do whatever you guys want, and whatever is beneficial for you, and more than a few stitches. Well, yes, Holly, I agree. That is the issue with live sessions, the time zone issues. However, if I do a live session, that live session would be uploaded to YouTube for viewing at a later time. So that even this session is going to be available on YouTube once it ends. I don't I don't I don't do these live sessions and then not put them on YouTube. For the simple reason that A, primarily people are from all over the world, and it's hard to catch everybody in their time zone. Um, and there are people out there that are interested and may, okay, right now, well, I'm trying to think of a place that it's now 1:45 in the afternoon here. I'm sure there's places that it's much later in the evening. So, um, to save it to YouTube, I think is the most advantageous way to do these live sessions is to, yes, we'll do them live. What did I just do there? We'll do them live. I'll get your questions. We'll answer your questions. We'll be interactive, and it will go on YouTube for those people who need to watch it or want to watch it later. You know, I wish I could do 24 hours. And that way catch everybody live, but I don't know that I could stay awake that long to do 24 hours. Um, but yeah, so that would be my plan is I don't I have not to this point in time done a video that has not been uploaded or done a live session that has not been uploaded to YouTube so that people could watch it at their convenience. I don't know, Jody. Do you think I could find enough to talk about for 24 hours? Oh, you guys are a riot. I love you. Ah, Linda, I bet you could do a 40 count. I bet you could. In fact, looking around, and thinking about the projects I've done, one of these times we're going to do a tour of all my projects that are hanging on my walls. But I would say most of them, most of them were done on 40 count. That was my go-to linen for years and years and years. Um, Graziano, 40 count, and I think it was called, I'm not sure how you say it, Ricamo, Ricamo, Graziano 40 count linen. It was the most fabulous, or to me, it was the most fabulous linen in the world. It was all I would buy. And I didn't just buy a yard at a time, I bought multiple yards at a time. I love it that much. Unfortunately, they do not manufacture it anymore. Broke my heart. Yeah, broke my heart. So, finding a substitute for that is difficult, because to me that was the cream of the crop. Loved it. Loved it. But you know what? What are you going to do? You go with the flow, you try and find something else. Right now I'm stitching full coverage, so I find the full coverage ones easier to stitch on 8 o'clock, or the 25 count over 1. Yeah, and I would not use that linen, or in fact, I don't think I would use any linen for full coverage, because you're covering it all up so seriously. Linda, have you tried Vicki Clayton's hand-dyed fibers? I think she has a Facebook group. I'm trying to remember if she has an Etsy store. Linen, I do full cross, yes, Jackie. But her silks are fabulous. I She dyed silks, then she left the silk dyeing for a period of time. I think she was dyeing yarn for a while, but now she's back dyeing silks again. And if you want to try a new silk, try hers. Hand dyed fibers, it's called. They are luscious, absolutely luscious. Quite a few of my pieces are stitched with them. Like I said, one of these videos where we'll have to do a tour, a tour of my living room and other room and kitchen and porch, my porch out here. Yeah, there's I lost count of how many pieces are hanging. Wall space now is at a premium. So, but yes, we will have a look at how to stitch on linen, and yeah, we will do those live. We'll do them live, and then they will all get posted to YouTube for viewing at a later time for those that are not in the correct time zone. Yeah, my living room walls are full, absolutely full. What can I say? You do what you love. You do what you love. Okay, my friends. We're looking at all but 2. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's put it, well, I don't have anything upstairs. My pieces are mainly in my living room. I have another room that it's set up as a dining room, but it never gets used as such. That has pieces in it. There's several in my kitchen that are full coverage that I did back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. And then there's 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces hanging over here. So, yeah, we'll do a tour. We'll do a tour. So with that, my friends, I think we're gonna call this one a day. For those of you that were winners of the giveaways, because the whole reason I started this video today was to say that we reached that 12,000 subscriber milestone and picked the 3 winners at the beginning of this video. So those of you that came in late, you might want to rewatch it after it's uploaded and um, check out and see if you were one of the winners. Um, so with that, I think I'm going to bid you all farewell. Um, and I will be back tomorrow at 10:30 for the live Hardanger sessions. And for those of you that were winners, I will comment on your comment so that you can please send me your email address and the chart of your choice. So when you tell me the chart, please also tell me the designer so that I can get the correct chart. Because sometimes charts by different designers have the same name. So that I make sure I get the correct one, designer and name of your chart. So all of you have a great rest of your day as well. I will see all of you that are joining me for the live Hardanger sessions tomorrow, and we will have a great time. So for now, have a great day. Thank you all for the privilege of your time and for stopping by and spending some time with me. So happy stitching, and I will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.